Alright, so it's the same settings as it was on last time.
Pee pee poo poo
Pee pee poo poo?
in my shoo.
Why in your shoe?
Because I was sad.
That's disgusting.
Mm.
Huh.
I did it in my left shoe, not my right shoe, so don't worry.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
So, welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I am joined by Colin today.
Hello.
My name is Spencer. So it is just the two of us this week. We did receive some very tragic news this afternoon. Turns out Jacob was found in a couple of different places and pieces, a little bloody. So he's no longer with us. So rest in peace, Jacob. Moment of silence. So, in honor of the third nude news dude, we will jump right into the news. Venom: Let There Be Carnage has been moved forward and will now be released on October 1st.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's been rumored that the movie's 90 minutes, like the first one. Also don't really care.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's not looking great.
It's pretty short.
I mean...
I feel like most movies are just actually a full-on hour and a half.
Average drama movies, yeah, they're an hour and a half to maybe 2, but now superhero movies in particular have gone to 2.5 plus.
I know.
Usually I'm on board with it, but sometimes it's
Well, I'm glad Venom isn't 2 hours.
Considering how rough it's probably going to be, yeah.
Maybe if it was written correctly and properly, it would be 2 hours, but since it's shitty, thank God it's 90.
That's a red one!
Fuck off. We got our first trailer for DC's animated Injustice movie, which is coming to disc and digital October 19th, 2021.
Trailer didn't look half bad.
Didn't look bad.
It looks like it's not connected to this rebooted animated movie universe, which is kind of cool.
Thank God.
I've been enjoying all of those,
well, no,
but it is nice
it's just,
that they're doing something separate.
It doesn't need to be connected.
Yes.
This is just let it be its own thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's being partially based on the Year Zero and the Year One comics, which is pretty cool. Add some meat and potatoes to the bones of the game. It's not like the game had that much story to it.
No.
I did like the last little note of the trailer, ha, Superman's gonna do the thing. He's gonna do the thing, and then it just ends.
He does the thing.
Yeah. He's gonna do the thing where he's like,
yeah,
kind of nice.
It's pretty cool.
Fan service.
Sure.
Nice. The first trailer for The Matrix Revolutions has been released. The film is coming to cinemas and HBO Max on December 22nd. I am stupidly excited for this.
I remember watching The Matrix, the first one, and I've seen some scenes from the second one and the third one growing up, and passing by while my dad's watching in the living room, but I never really got into it. So it's cool. It looks cool. I'm not totally excited for it, but maybe I will if I watch those movies over again. I've heard that 2 and 3 is rough, but I've seen the arguments between the two. But whatever, I'll check it out.
Yeah, the original is an absolute masterpiece, and then Reloaded and Revolutions are, rough is a good way to put it. They had a lot of really good ideas, but due to the way that they were made back to back without a lot of feedback and some other rough structure problems, they're not amazing. But there's been a little bit of a resurgence in the past couple of years on revisiting those two movies with a bit of a better light. In particular due to the original directors and writers coming out and being yep, it was pretty clearly a trans allegory that we weren't talking about publicly at the time, and that kind of refreshed the discourse on it. And
I heard about that, and I didn't even know that's what that was. How and where? How is that an allegory? I don't understand. We'll have this conversation later.
Long conversation.
We'll have this conversation later. Moving on. PlayStation and Insomniac Games released an announcement teaser for Wolverine game coming exclusively to PlayStation 5.
Nice. Considering Insomniac is one of the only video game publishers to developers to actually do a good superhero game in the past few years, I'm looking forward to it.
Won't play it, because I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Same. At this rate, it looks like nobody's getting a PlayStation 5.
Yep.
PlayStation and Insomniac Games also released the first teaser for Spider-Man 2 coming in 2023 exclusively to PlayStation 5. Now, this thing got me excited because I have played all the way through Spider-Man for PS4, which is an amazing game.
How'd you do that?
I borrowed someone's PlayStation.
That's so strange to me.
Well, considering it's a single-player game, and it is open world, so there's a lot of content. But it's not like, we're not talking, whose name I'm going to edit out because they're a rape company.
Yep.
But, like, you know, we're not talking a bloatware game. Yeah. Like, it is a phenomenal game.
I've seen I've seen walkthroughs.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. It looks like this is technologically, the footage was real-time rendered, so it's rendered in engine. Obviously, it's not like a pre-created trailer, which looked pretty cool. They fixed one of the problems with Spider-Man's suit that's always bothered me, is that it's orangey red.
Right, yeah.
Which was obviously an intentional choice, but it seems like most people are like, that's kind of weird. So they fixed that. The tech upgrade looks really cool.
I feel like that's been used before unintentionally. Like, that's been a color for Spider-Man, like, comic-wise. Unintentionally.
Yeah, it's definitely happened.
But people just didn't really like it too much. They liked the crimson.
Yeah, and then I haven't played Miles Morales, but that also got just about as good reviews as the first game.
Yeah, because Spider-Cat was awesome.
Also true. So I'm looking forward to
Spider-Man, the cat.
Yes. I'm looking forward to this. And then it looks like it's primarily going to be Kraven and Venom. So count me doubly down.
So I'm annoyed with it because what it looks like to me is that they are introducing a co-op game. But from sources, I've heard that it's not that at all.
That is correct. That was verified. And that is a little disappointing because...
Do you know how many people would have loved to do that?
Oh, me.
Me too. I would have scoured the earth for PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it looks like it might be more of a... As they're pretty clear, they're not going to like turn it into a co-op game. I think it's going to be like a... I don't remember the name for the subgenre, but you can like tap in and out as different characters, and like there was a Spider-Man game that did that. It wasn't great. I think it was like Friend or Foe or whatever that came out ages ago. You could tap in and out as different characters, and
or it was like
they have different play styles and stuff.
Shadow of the Web or something like
that.
Web
of Shadows. That was really good. That one was actually really good.
That's what introduced me to like multiverse of Spider-Man.
Nice.
That's what introduced me to 2099.
Yes. So I think they might be aiming for something like that because they've developed both characters as like their own Spider-Man, but now they're both in the same game, seemingly equally. Like they even gave Peter Parker an upgrade so he can like match Miles in terms of power set.
Because what I like as it is, it's like older brother, younger brother.
Yes,
I like that.
It's a good dynamic. I liked how it didn't seem to try to push stupidly hard mentor role, but it's like the natural.
It's just like brother,
I've been doing this a little longer than you. Yeah, let me show you some stuff. But like, I'm not gonna like boss
just let me show you some stuff, bud.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like stick a training helmet on you and then like turn on the training droid and then tell you some really vague force shit. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna like give you some gadgets and we'll go fuck around.
Yeah, we'll do stuff together.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Marvel Studios announced 4 more dates for movies to be released in 2024. Titles have yet to be announced. So we have February 16th, May 3rd, July 26th, and November 8th. So the movies that we already have that do have dates is Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, Quantumania, and Guardians Volume 3. So that leaves... Wait, hold on. Yes. So that leaves, in total, 5 movies coming out in that year. Holy crap. And that leaves a couple of projects that don't have release dates. I'm pretty confident one of those is going to be Blade and the other one's going to be Fantastic Four, because those 2 have been announced that they're in production or early pre-production, but they don't have release dates yet.
Yeah.
No clue what the other ones are. Probably another Spider-Man movie.
Bleh.
If we're being honest.
Bleh.
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 Cool. I hate it when they'd like say, we're going to have 4 more movies out. It's like, that's great. What are they? Like, I don't like the vague, we've told you what movies are coming and what dates they are.
I don't care.
But
just
not
give me Moon
which
Knight.
ones are which.
I don't care. Just give me Moon Knight.
I believe Moon Knight's coming out early next year. I don't remember if it's late this year or early next year, because the next show that's going to be coming out is going to be Hawkeye and Miss Marvel, and those two don't have release dates, but they're rumored to be like end of this year, which would be great because it's been a little bit since Loki, meaning like 6 weeks.
Give me Moon Knight right now.
I agree. Moon Knight oh yeah.
It gives me very much Daredevil vibes.
Oh yeah, buddy.
And I've been missing Daredevil really badly.
Well, apparently Wilson Fisk is rumored to be in the Hawkeye show, which would be fucking sick.
Strange. But at least
No, that's coming out next year.
Fuck you. So, moving on.
Would you like to jump into the...
What ifs?
Yes, the what ifs.
Yeah.
The fifth what ifs.
So, this
Zombies.
Yeah. It's basically just what if zombies.
That's
What if...
literally the title.
What if Infinity War...
But zombies.
Yeah.
Literally the title is What If Zombies, which I thought was kind of fun.
Huh! I like that.
I like this more than the actual Marvel Zombies books. Those are very simultaneously fun and goofy, but they're really nihilistic in terms of like philosophy behind it. They're very depressing to read versus like a Deceased, which freaking Lord and King Tom Kaler absolutely knocked out of the park. Those are really hopeful books, even though they're really gross.
Yeah.
So this was cool.
I don't really like zombie things because everyone... Immediately, when there's a zombie apocalypse, every single character becomes so fucking stupid. Yeah. Like, so dense.
They gotta walk around that juicy thick dumper, though.
Shut the fuck up. I called everything that was going to happen. Like, I literally called everything that was about to happen. And it was so annoying. It's like, you need to... Wasp, go smaller so you don't become a problem for them. Holy shit.
See... Yeah, the only twist that I didn't call was the Vision and like Wanda one at the end.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one coming.
I was surprised.
Once I saw Vision and then he was acting mildly weird, I'm like, okay, I know what's going on now because we have to continuously allude to the fact that Wanda is like uber strong and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I figured that's where it would go.
Well,
but, like
once we got there, I was like, this makes sense, especially after like reading Vision, the trade. Yeah. And I'm like, this is something Vision totally would do.
Oh, absolutely.
Vision's a psychotic sociopath at times.
Yes. I did like, there were definitely some dumb choices for sure, but like...
That was a good one.
I liked the cast lineup on the whole. I did not like the random civilian. He was obnoxious and didn't like that. Not a fan.
He's from...
I don't care.
That's no wonder you don't like him. That's the Ant-Man character.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I hated that.
And I also hated Ant-Man in this fucking thing because Ant-Man is literally a walking meme, and not in like, he's a walking meme. No, like literally nothing can be taken seriously, and every line of dialogue has to be a joke, and it's fucking obnoxious.
Yep.
But I thought this was really nice Spider-Man content. The voice acting was fine. The face looked a little on the old side, but
the face looked nothing like him.
See,
and do not have this fucking argument with me that like none of the characters look like them. Every character has the points of contact of the feature of the actors.
Yeah, that's fair.
Every single one of them has the points of contact that your brain recognizes immediately.
Yeah.
If you don't stare long enough.
Yeah, so like nose, cheekbones, like the bottom of the jaw.
The big stuff. The nose to eye ratio.
Yeah.
Is the biggest part of any recognition.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Tom Holland, Spider-Man was not Tom Holland.
He did look fine though. To be fair,
it looked like a Peter Parker, but it just didn't look like Tom Holland. That's annoying to me.
There might have been some sort of illegal thing with that. Maybe I'm just speculating.
Weird.
That one.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
The whole Rise of Skywalker definitely had to put Kylo Ren in a mask again for legal things. Is something going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I've seen that.
Yeah, like it's speculation. Obviously, I know nothing, but that was kind of
whatever.
I don't know. Spider-Man to cape.
Oh, I love that.
He felt a little less... He was doing the same jokey joke, movies, memes type deal, which sometimes gets a little on my nerves.
I was okay with that in this one because it made sense.
Felt like this is how he would cope in the apocalypse. Be like, yeah, I'm just going to talk about zombie movies all the time.
Well, yeah.
It felt right. And he name dropped Uncle Ben. Can everyone shut the fuck up about Uncle Ben in the MCU now?
Moving on.
Happy was kind of cool.
Blam, 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 blam.
I just like Jon Favreau. He just seems like a really chill dude. He also kind of started all of this nonsense, so...
Yes.
Blam, blam, blam. I'm very confident that the overall villain of this series is going to be Zombie Thanos now, because I believe we have 10, maybe 12 episodes. I think it's confirmed to be 10, but I don't remember. And there's obviously some overriding narrative for all of this. Like, there's gonna be a meetup at the end between different things. So I think that's gonna be the big old bad guy.
I think the big old bad guy is going to be Ultron Vision.
Maybe? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It just...
Oh! I want to point out something. We had the argument about the Mind Stone.
Oh.
They fucked up!
I have a point on that. I agree on like, visual, because I hadn't noticed that. Effectively, you were like, wait a minute, why is it when Vision busted the stone out of his own head and committed seppuku that it's small now? Because in Infinity War, when, Thanos pulls the stone out of Vision's head, it gets bigger because, like, only the tip is pointing out. I hadn't noticed that because...
Yeah, because it's just the tip of the stone.
Like, it's the alignment of Thanos' fingers, like, kind of covers most of it, and it's a fairly short shot. I hadn't noticed that, so props to you on noticing that detail. But
I've only seen the movie once, too.
Wow. I have a point of speculation on that. None of this really matters, but point of speculation, because when the stone is broken out of Loki's scepter, it's small. So I'm thinking, because I remember pre-Infinity War days, we were speculating on what stone was going to fit, like, the big spot on the gauntlet, because all of them are equal except the one on, like, the back. And I thought it was going to be the Soul Stone. I still think the Soul Stone makes more sense for that. But
the Soul Stone does look a little bigger. Also, it's, like, oval.
Yes, but they obviously they change shape all the time and whatever, depending on context. They can change their shape at will. So I'm thinking, because it's shown at the end of this episode that Zombie Thanos already has the other 4 stones, maybe there's some convoluted logic there to
That's
like the
convenient.
stone. I'm just saying, maybe it's like, the stone is ready to be put into the gauntlet now. It's the correct size. I have no idea. None of it really matters, but
whatever.
That was an interesting thing to notice, because it did look very small. It's like, oh, look at that tiny little yellow rock.
I just did not like the inconsistency about that.
It was nice hearing Chadwick Boseman again. It's a very good voice. Oof. I don't like saying that. That's sad. Shall we move on to the main topic?
Yeah, sure. Let's go into the titties. The man titties.
Oh boy. So 300 Rise of an Empire is a 2014 American epic action film directed by Noam Murro, written and produced by father, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
It is a sequel to the 2006 film 300, taking place before, during, and after the main events of that film, and is loosely based on the Battle of Artemisium and the Battle of Salamis. Colin, what are your thoughts on this movie?
I really like this movie a lot. Like, I love the fake blood, and I love just the action. And, of course, there's times where the background looks a little weird. Like, it's not just the regular Zack Snyder does fuzzy background because it's like comics. There were some times
screen composites.
There were some times where it was really rough. I'm like, that's not just your regular, like, touch.
Yeah.
That's literally messed up a little bit. But I love the blood. I love the action. Very inspiring.
So, I agree with you. I do really like this movie. But I think the best way to describe it is, was this movie worth it? Is making a sequel to that original movie worth the diminishing returns? Because one of the strongest, in my opinion, the strongest point of 300, same thing with the original graphic novel, is it's a propaganda piece. It is constructed as a narrative really focused on a handful of people, their culture, and what all these things mean to them, and how that's used. And But this movie gets a lot bigger in terms of time, characters, scale, and intensity.
Yep.
But it feels lesser.
Yes.
In the sense of, one, the culture we're primarily following, being the Athenians, is a lot less fascistic. But also, it's not framed in as strong of a narrative sense as a piece of propaganda. So if you zoom out from that perspective, it kind of loses a lot of the fun, not the fun to it, but like the thematic appeal to it.
I definitely enjoyed 300 a lot more.
Yeah.
Especially with the introduction of, like, you have a warrior's quest. It's literally the warrior's quest is training, fighting demons.
Yeah.
And, like, It just felt like that first movie was propaganda for a giant war, and then this one was literally propaganda from the Queen for a war, and then we didn't get to see the finishing of the war.
Yeah, I think it tries to get similar vibes, but because of the the in canon, in lore differences between the cultures, you can't do the same thing twice. And in film, you can't do the same thing twice. It's not going to work, especially if it's a direct sequel or another continuation of the series. It's never gonna have the same impact in the same way.
Yeah.
And I think this movie does everything more, and because it does everything more in a shorter screen time, a shorter runtime as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything anywhere near as well, and that's not because it's bad. I still think it's a pretty solid movie, but like the themes of like how do these battles and like the victories and in quotation victories and like the sacrifices, how does that inspire or whatever the other factions or the people? But in this, we're following the Athenians, who are mostly like normal people. I mean, they still have a shit ton of CGI abs, but like they're merchants and potters and whatever, and like that's cool. It's interesting. I think it's shown in the main lead, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'm tired.
Yeah.
But like his leadership style is obviously extremely different than how the Spartans run.
Yeah, because how the Spartan leader, the king, Leonidas, his was very reserved. He was a very reserved, like almost father leader figure. Where with I can't remember his name, Blue Cape, we got a very not almost brother, almost like it was a brother. Like he'll show you his weakness, he'll show you blah blah blah. Where when with Leonidas, we were shown no weakness; it was strength to the ends.
Right, and I think that's something that's really interesting. Not necessarily what the film was intending to do, but like a discussion wise of Leonidas. If you compare Xerxes and Leonidas and Blue Cape guy, Leonidas has way more in common with Xerxes than he does with Blue Cape guy, in terms of his demeanor and his form of leadership. They're not the same, but in terms of
because Xerxes is a witness while Leonidas is there.
Right. So they have a lot of contrast there, right? He's leading from the front lines, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But he does not offer a lot of consolation to his troops. He has to, because he is a Spartan, and B, he's the king, he needs to present as infinitely more strong and reserved than he probably actually is on the inside. We get very few moments of anything other than rage and raging testosterone. Versus with Blue Cape guy, he feels almost like a normal guy. Like even though he's a career he's a career soldier, but he feels
like a normal captain.
Yeah, he feels like a person.
Yeah.
Versus Leonidas is a figure. He's a symbol.
Yeah. He's just inspiration.
And I think that's the distinction, really. Like, that kind of symbolizes the distinction between the two movies, because you follow Leonidas, this symbol, this almost god king who's slain demons from the time of a child and blah, blah, blah. And then you have this normal dude who's like, yeah, I've been with the military my whole life and I've never done anything different, but like he still feels like a person. And we get even less time with him because there's more characters and less screen time, but he feels more developed as a character. I think it's interesting. There is no real definitive right or wrong. And I think that kind of extends to the sexual themes of this movie is interesting. I found we're clearly talking about one particular scene.
Of course.
I have kind of mixed feelings on it. As a scene in isolation, I actually think it works really well. Like, how it's made, what it functions as, it serves a narrative purpose in the scene, not just they fucked or they didn't fuck. That serves a narrative purpose. Like, the individual parts of the scene work to influence the narrative and how the conflict moves. But also, if you're going to make a direct sequel where the original movie only has forms of exploitation and rape, and then this movie also has other instances of rape, and then you have this whole scene with, like, normal-looking nudity, it feels kind of weird.
Well, with the first movie, it wasn't just exploitation. We saw love between the king and his queen.
Right.
So,
I can't put my finger
I just
on
feel
it.
weird about sex scenes in general. I'm not a prude.
I agree.
I'm not a prude, but
I think this
be
movie
careful with what you're trying to convey.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I don't feel like it was very careful or really very.
It feels a little more sloppy.
Yes.
It has a point. Like it's not just there to be there, but it could have been honed in on a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think the archetype of the woman who's been abused in all the ways and then becomes vengeful and stuff, it's interesting, but it's kind of trite if we're being honest, because that's been done 1,000 times and it's not the best impression to leave. And I think that in contrast to the primarily...
I don't know. I think this was not done amazing, but like considering the female characters that have had that, I feel like she was pretty good because she wasn't. So the thing is, that type of archetype can go two ways. It can go from being a villain or to a good guy, where you're like, now I'm strong, blah blah blah. But it was good because she was full on bad. She's like, yeah, everything I'm gonna do is gonna be for me. I made this god king so that I could basically take what I want, and she did. She like took what she wanted.
Yeah.
And this isn't a someone to aspire to be character. It is a someone to fear character.
I agree, but I think that might get a bit more muddy when we have kind of long scenes of her kind of standing there looking cool and making cool speeches and being badass, but like...
Because people want to be badass if they see badass.
Exactly. I think it's that really careful balance between glorification and exploration of like violence. Whereas you get like the movies that stir up a lot of pop culture discourse of, will this make people more violent? Blah blah blah. Whatever. You know, you get your Jokers. You get 300 when it first came out was part of a lot of discourse. We're not getting into the specifics of that, but the point being of, does this encourage this sort of behavior, or is it exploring it in a way that's supposed to make you uncomfortable? And I felt like
I was not uncomfortable. Where what you're saying is that it should make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. And I think
okay.
that's a gut feeling. I'm not saying there's a specific better
that's just
way to
you
do
as
it.
A person as your moral judgment of how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It's not oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's just like, why? Why would you make those choices go in that direction in such a way? I don't know. The fun part of this was the fact that the sequel book that this is half based on didn't come out until after this movie.
Strange.
So I am in the middle of reading it. We'll be talking about it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it's weird because we had the original book came out in 98. Mm-hmm. Then the original movie came out in 2006. This movie came out in 2014, and apparently Snyder and then the director had access to some parts of the book, like some storyboards and whatever.
Wow.
So from my very surface level knowledge, it's like kind of accurate because, it takes place before, during, after 300. It's bigger scale, characters and whatever. But then the movie came out, and then the sequel book came out in, I believe, 2018. So it had multiple years after the movie came out to like be kind of inspired by the movie, kind of similar to what Game of Thrones did with the books that George R.R. Martin is still writing. The show went beyond where the source material was, and now the source material seems to be influenced by the adaptation. It's weird. And once we're done with the book, I'm sure that'll come up as a point of discussion, but it seems something to note because I think that might have influenced the weaker script for this movie and kind of relying more on the action and stuff because it didn't have as much like to pull from. It's kind of, we have vague ideas and characters and like plot points, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's weird.
These sorts of things kind of amuse me to no end.
Abs. Yes.
Blue capes.
I like red capes better.
I like both. I like how cartoonishly bright the blue capes are.
Yes.
It's very aesthetically pleasing.
I like that we saw a little origin background of Xerxes.
I think that's a double-edged sword. Kind of like their spears, whereas it's like...
Don't want to get into it. I just wanted to say that I liked it.
It's cool. Like, it's a cool backstory, I think. And I think the use of like actual historical characters in this insanely fictionalized way is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because like we're not talking 2 generations ago. Do not make some like weird sci-fi thing about MLK. Don't do that. But these people existed like 2,500 years ago.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, go for it.
Go make Bible 2. Is what I'm saying. I need a sequel adaptation of the Bible where Jesus has a Glock. Just saying.
Stop. Don't even joke about that.
FBI, open up! Colin, what have you been up to?
So I recently watched The Green Knight.
Ooh. Oh boy. I haven't talked about it on here, so I'm gonna need to be quiet.
Yes, you are going to be a little bit quiet. I mean, you can discuss a little bit.
Ooh. Ow.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Strained my throat.
So, The Green Knight, an A24 film, released June 30th of this year, directed, edited, and produced by David Lowery or Lowry?
I think it's Lowry.
Okay, I was having it right the first time. I tried it. Directed, edited, and produced by David Lowery. A Christmas epic based on the 4th century poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, where a young prince goes on a quest to the Green Chapel to finish a game of beheading. During this journey, he faces trials of chivalry that test his morals, ethics, and courage, meeting characters such as thieves who steal his horse and axe, a friendly fox, mystical giants, a ghost missing her sunken skull, and a mysterious hunter who lives in an outlandish mansion with an artful woman and their blindfolded servant. So, I was wildly excited to watch this movie because I've seen clips. I refuse to watch... I try to not watch trailers of like any movies anymore because I basically ruined that for Batman vs Superman because I watched everything.
Those later trailers were really rough.
So it wasn't ruined. It's just I basically once I got to the theaters, I literally saw everything.
Yeah.
So I got too much information. I got too much. So I try to like stay away, and I did.
Dude, the Green Knight marketing was so reserved too. I followed all of it, and I was like, there's like one trailer and one TV spot.
That's what it seemed like, and but still, I stayed away. Everything's phenomenal. From the visuals, to the practical effects, to the CGI, which the thing is some of the CGI it's a little, you can tell it's CGI, but like, it's used properly, I feel like.
It's stuff that'll age well.
Yeah, so it's like very A24, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that A24 doesn't make these films themselves, but A24 definitely does buy movies.
Well, they acquire the weirdest
They do acquire movies that all look the same.
A little bit.
That are like...
In the good way, though.
Yes. What I mean is, like, they're all consistent.
Yeah.
So, in how they look and how they're made. And so I love the mysticism and the symmetry or the symbolic nature of this whole film. It was very nice, and I loved the crowns were so nice. I'd never seen crowns like that.
Really?
Like, yeah, so crowns that have like the holy symbol on the back of them. It's like all gold. I've never seen that before. And I don't know if that's like has been in back when and now. So I haven't really read up much on this movie because I just really like thinking about it myself rather than knowing what's truly fact. But I don't know who the king is. I just assumed that it was King Arthur.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here because I have to.
Okay.
I'm going to count this as one of mine too because we have to talk about it now.
Okay, yeah, we're going to both talk about it right now.
Yes, it's King Arthur. He's mentioned by name and his wife.
It's very assumed. I feel
exactly
because you come into the room and it's the round table. I'm like, that's King Arthur. It's the round table.
Yeah. So the thing about this is that it is somehow a kind of deconstructive yet reconstructive modern interpretation of an Arthurian legend.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing is, do you know how many King Arthur movies we've had?
So many.
Because King Arthur is in the public domain. Mm-hmm. So we have a new movie every 5 years. Some of them are pretty good, some of them aren't. But they always follow that same hero's journey structure, which is fine. But they kind of all have a somewhat similar like vibe to them and whatever. Versus you go to, we're going to do an Arthurian legend, but it's his nephew, and it's based on another Arthurian tale. In the original source material, Gawain was just one of the other knights at the table. But
he's not even a knight.
Exactly.
That's a cool thing.
And I think that choice... So I have read the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I have multiple copies of it. I'm a nerd.
Really?
Yes.
I don't have one. I need to get one.
Get it. It's fucking awesome. I am a big ol' Arthurian legend nerd. This was kind of my thing before, like when I was a kid, like a tween.
Yeah.
Before I really got into Lord of the Rings, so like it's kind of my deal. But I think that choice of we're gonna make it essentially Arthurian legend light, but that way you have so much more to work with. You get the basic structure points. This is literally a hero's journey. The most basic storytelling like structure.
Yes. So it is, but it's like he fails everything.
Exactly.
That's what
he actually fucks up almost the entire movie.
So, just so everyone knows, before I went to go see this, Spencer told me, just remember the code of chivalry. And so, like, I had a copy with me. I literally had a copy with me. Just to mark down. I'm like, they're literally going down the list.
They literally went down
literally, the first one is, he attacked an unarmed foe.
Yes.
Off of his horse. And... everything. He fails every single rule of chivalry. He, like, is disrespectful to women. He he cheats.
Yeah, I loved the fact that each challenge, he still got a little better. Even though he failed almost all the way up until the last one. Because you had, so at first he attacked an unarmed individual. Instead of, like in the original source material, it's the point of, I do this to you, we'll return it a year later, blah, blah, blah. Instead of giving him a smack on the cheek and making it a game, he goes, I'm gonna prove myself and I'm gonna fucking behead you.
Is that what happened in the poem? He snacked him?
No. I mean, the structure of like this sort of a game type deal is that's not original to the movie.
Okay. I figured it not.
Yeah. So instead of playing a game, he goes, I can prove myself because I'm a cocky little asshole.
Because I am the nephew of Arthur.
Yeah, and I have no real value to my life and whatever. And then he just beheads this dude. And then, because he thinks, I behead him, he won't come back a year later. This game won't continue. I've won.
You've literally done, like, the worst part of the game.
Psych, bitch. I'm gonna pick my own head up.
Yeah, dude.
And then the next challenge is, it's charity or, like, kindness. The thief on the road, he, instead of paying him for his advice, being nice to him, he's really dismissive of this poor little shit who's lower on the totem pole. But Gawain's not royalty. Mm-hmm. He's vaguely related, but like he's not even a knight.
So he like doesn't even have like anything really.
No, he.
Wait. What you're saying is like how is he like seeing him so lowly?
Exactly. He's like, I'm on my horse. I have my stuff. I am on a quest. You little peasant, give me directions, and I will continue about my way. And it comes back to kick him in the ass. And then when it comes to what is her name? The ghost in the cabin.
I can't remember, but she was the same chick that played the redhead in.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't care about that character.
Kellyman. Yes, that's the actress's name. But like, yes. So he at first is like, he's being nice about it. He's not being like weird and creepy towards her.
Yeah.
And then, but he's like, what'll you do for me if I do this favor for you? And she's like, bro, just be nice and go get my fucking head, you asshole.
Yeah.
And then he does it, and then he gets rewarded for it, and like it continues with each.
What does he get rewarded? I forget.
The axe is returned to him.
Right! So, yeah.
And I love how each individual challenge, I'm not going to go through the rest of them, but like each one, he gets closer to making the right choice.
Yeah.
Even up to the last one.
He's trying.
He's trying.
Yeah, he's trying to be Kurt.
Even at the end, and I love that. It's an actual hero's journey, not I made one stupid choice at the beginning and now I will pay for it. It's continuous.
Yeah.
It's so good. The poem is really basic too. It's not that long.
I love the fox. The fox wanted him to not go so badly. He's like, dude, you're my friend. Don't do this, please.
So this is the cool thing is almost all of this is up for, there is, as always with a movie like this, there's a quote unquote, like the directorial intent.
Yeah.
But like, I think the fox was another challenge. It was because you know what color all the surroundings were at that moment? Yellow. Being a fucking coward. And
is that what yellow means?
Yeah, usually. Like in yellow bellied lizard.
Yeah.
He could have bailed out. And then he goes, no, I'm gonna fucking do this. I mean, yeah, he yelled at the fox, which was dumb. But I loved that. So, what is your interpretation of like
what happened?
The ending, the beginning, and then the mystical shit? What do you think happened? Because there's I think like two.
So it's so difficult because I want to watch it again. It's so good. It is one.
Have you only watched it once?
Yes.
Oh, you should watch it again.
I know I need to. I'm going to.
It's, I believe, available on streaming now.
Yeah. I think what happened was, so that green belt thing,
Yeah.
we were shown that like a little charm was put inside the belt.
Right.
And so I think that charm was some type of mystical, like this type of mystical artifact that was given to help him do what is right, or something like of that nature, of like protection, whatever.
Yeah.
However it is given to him in what form of protection,
Yeah.
was him foreseeing his future
Yeah.
if he did go back. And so
That
he
was
did
such
was
a good
and what he
flashback,
did,
too.
yeah.
Because at first I was like, wait, did they
Or flash
Did they
forward.
did they just subvert the entire fucking thing? I went, wait a minute. Thematically, this
No,
makes
it's going so fast.
Thematically, this makes no fucking sense
Yep.
at all. And I went, oh.
And then we go back and he takes the belt and so what we're seeing is like, he whenever you see him, he has the belt. He doesn't take the belt off during intercourse. He doesn't take the belt. The belt stays on. I made that joke during the watching of like 300,
Yeah.
Rise of 300, Rise of an Empire, and he never takes the belt off, never ever. He has a child. The child's taken away from his like lover. It's literally in that moment that they like have a child, and it's like she's taken from her, and she doesn't even know that like, yeah, we're not together anymore.
Yeah.
I just used you as to have
That
a
was
child.
so
But
bad.
even that I found that strange, because in regular like, back then times, was you had a child with just a random woman, you didn't even care about the child. It was nothing bastard child.
Yeah.
But he still kept the child, and
Yeah.
then we saw
I think
him in
that
the
had
war
to do with
room.
legacy.
Yeah, something like that.
Kind
So,
of one of the major themes.
yeah, so war room, and then he finds a new bride, gets undressed by their servants, which is really fucked.
Surprisingly enough, that shit was fairly normal. At the time.
Yeah, fucked.
Weird stuff.
Yeah, and so then we see more stuff, war brewing, what have you, and then eventually he takes off his belt and his head falls off, and I was like, whoa, and so then we see him, boom, he's back there at the Green Chapel.
Yes.
Before he allows the Green Knight to chop his head off, he takes off his green belt and he says he's ready.
Yes.
So, and then the Green Knight says, like, basically it's like, good. And then that's how it ends.
Oof.
So I have like two interpretations. It's either that belt was shown to him to be a protection to show him the future, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, the Green Knight, instead of killing him, saw his courage and, like, whatever, you're going to let me.
Yeah.
You can go now. Or the belt was like a curse, being like, so that he come back to his mother in a cowardly fashion. Whether it be of him fulfilling the thing, or cowardly fashion just so his mother can have her child or whatever.
Do you know who his mother is, right?
No, but I'll get to that.
Okay.
And so it's either there's a charm, and
You came to two conclusions I genuinely hadn't even thought of.
Really?
Yes. I will tell you
And so then he just like took the belt off or something like that.
Yeah.
So you tell me who she is, and then you get to your part.
So she is named, because it's mentioned, she's a fucking witch.
I know she's a witch.
She's Morgana Le Fay.
I don't know much about Arthurian legend.
Head queen witch bitch lady. Depending on what interpretation of the legend, she's either good or bad. But she's like the head magical lady.
Oh, she's like Mother Reverend.
Something like that, sure.
Yeah.
Usually she's not directly related to Arthur himself.
Yeah.
But apparently that's his sister,
But that's
which
cool.
is fine.
I like
It's cool.
that.
I like how like she's like kind of brought into like it's like she's part of like the how like Camelot's like structure.
I like.
She's
that a
part
lot.
of effectively the government.
Yeah.
So we see her doing some spell shenanigans at the beginning of this movie, during like the opening and whatever, and then she makes him the belt. She gives him the belt. Like this is fairly the belt is part of that's like the main key to the original legend.
Okay.
And the ending is
The
effectively
enchanted belt.
Yeah, the belt is effectively the same. But not like the weird flash forward thing.
Okay.
Not that, but like the point he takes it off at the end. The knight doesn't kill him. So there are two.
So the knight doesn't kill him in the original.
No, he doesn't.
Nice.
There are effectively two interpretations which kind of lead to the same point, with kind of like a third little spin-off idea. So she gave him a placebo. The belt is nothing. It's a belt. And that is the general... And I don't remember off the top of my head where the belt came from in the original Legend. I think it came from one of his first stops. Or it was from the Green Knight himself. I think it might have been the Green Knight. I don't remember. It's been a couple of years since I've read it. But the belt is him... That is his...
placebo effect.
Yeah, it's a placebo. It's him
it's
going...
his security blanket.
Exactly. He's going, the belt stays on during intercourse. It will keep me safe forever. And it's him learning to actually rely on himself instead of, I am related to King Arthur. It's him learning to like create his own legacy, to be his own actual hero. Yeah,
rather than to hang on to
other people's accomplishments and gifts. And so she does spell stuff, and it's what color the magic is? Magic is green. Mm-hmm. The belt's also green. The knight is green, and then the knight comes in. Real spooky shit. I do have to say, this movie, fucking terrifying, but never scary. I love that. For sure. This movie is tense as all hell. Like, the whole time, butthole clenched, I'm expecting no jump scares. Yeah. The entire time. But freaky. Really weird random stuff. There's lots of spooky imagery.
It's very much me.
But it's never cheap. I love that. Anyways, but the Green Knight does his stuff, and then... so you go through all of the adventures and whatever, and the Huntsman, you get similar vibes off of those two between the Huntsman and the Green Knight. Big, burly.
Yeah, a little bit.
He got kind of the same like silhouette, kind of. Yeah. So there's one interpretation that like he's effectively cosplaying, which I think in this movie, like the movie version, doesn't work because of how it's visually represented. Yep. And then the easier one is the Green Knight is magic. Yeah. Obviously not just he's magic. It's his mother.
That's what I thought. I totally forgot to say that. I literally saw that and because she made the letter. Yeah. She made the letter. So she summoned the Green Knight.
So there's two interpretations of that through line. She either did it as a loving mother to make her stupid man-child grow the fuck up, go on an adventure, which is in a vaguely kind of controlled environment, not really, but he probably won't die, under effectively her direct control, because the Green Knight at the end, when he leans down in that moment where when Gawain takes off the belt and then the knight kneels down in a different tone of voice and gives them a little smile and a wink, and it gave me big happy feels because it felt like parental approval.
You learned my son.
Exactly. Or she's doing it for malicious purposes so she can kill off the remaining heirs and take the throne because Arthur's on his way out the door. Dude's dying. His wife is dying. They literally look like walking corpses the whole movie. Yeah. They're stupidly almost dead.
I don't think it's that.
I agree with you, but I'm saying that's one because her intentions aren't made very clear by the movie. Yeah. And depending on which legends you read, she goes both ways.
So the thing is, the reason why I think that'd be super cheap if that's what it was, because if you look visually and how she's acting surface level. So here's how story is. If a character shows something surface level and we're not shown any, let me back up. So if we're shown a certain perspective for the whole entire movie, one person's perspective the entire time, right? And you take everything surface level, and you don't get any exposition or flashback from any other characters, surface level is real. Right. But if we get little, here's perspective from hero, here's perspective from bad guy, and then here's third-party perspective, whatever, then you can be I can take it from bad guys or good guys or third-party perspective of this could change. Where this is all surface level, if you are given surface level, you need to take surface level. No, I believe that with everything that was shown to us visually and how she acted and tonally, it was just to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree because the
and I think it would be cheap if it was just her taking the crown. That's stupid.
No, I do agree. It's just a matter of the only times where it feels malicious or evil or is the time when it's the magic itself. When the queen gets possessed to just deliver the fucking message, which was terrifying, admittedly.
That was sick.
That was fucking really cool imagery. That, or like the original spell making of the letter was kind of creepy, and like certain moments, but it's the magic. It's the moments away from her. She is only shown in a positive light, over her son's shoulder, writing a letter, whatever, and, you know, in the end, and she stays through him even in his like hypothetical flash forward. She's still there. The only time where it's like, this could be evil is like when you're watching from what feels like a scared little boy watching fucking weird magic shit.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think if someone just goes off of, well, the magic looks dark, look at any so we're only shown magic from a dark lens through this entire movie. We're not shown any like lighter tone magic. None of it. Mm-hmm. The only lighter tone magic is just the science that was used that we don't. So the thing is, in this universe and probably real world, magic is just dark looking no matter what.
Yeah, it's perspective.
Because whatever is scary or whatever you don't understand is scary. Exactly. And whatever is unknown is scary, and whatever is scary must be bad, right?
Right.
That's how our brains work.
Same exact thing to follow through back to the movie being like really on edge. Like when I was watching this, there were moments where I'm like, I'm going to look towards the edge of the screen because I think there's something coming that's going to like give me a good jump. Because, I'm very jumpy. I don't get like deeply unsettled, but I'm very jumpy. I twitch.
You are jumpy.
I flinch at stuff. Jump scares fucking kill me. Like shit like that.
That's the only thing that really scares me is jump scares.
Like they don't like deeply unsettle, but it's like I just don't like this type of whatever. So I anticipate those things. It's scary because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So the magic that it's always shown as being spooky, it's not known. And like I said, it's kind of tense throughout the whole movie. There's some scenes that are set up really creepily with the house and the bed and whatever, and almost all of them are revealed to be good things.
Yeah. Or
like neutral. Like he wakes up and then he's like in this ghost's house, and the ghost is like, bro, you're in my bed, asshole, which was funny. He offers to leave like a good gentleman. Like a good Sir Knight.
He was actually doing a good thing right there.
Right. And until he decided to be weird about it. But like, it's fine. He gets something returned to him. The next, he's being offered refuge in this guy's house. Like, there are good things. They're just presented in a way of the unknown. And I think that's such a really cool way to like tie it all together. Because like, I can't call it a thriller movie. I can't call it a horror movie because it's not. But it's got some like horror inspired like vibes to it. It's like gothic.
It's a
gothic fantasy, I think would be a good way to put it.
Sure.
It's something that we don't see a lot of anymore.
Back to what you were saying about the man in the woods being like basically just cosplaying as the Green Knight. It does make sense because he also did the whatever you take and you'll give back to me in return.
That's where that whole thing came from.
That is all strange because he also is like he was going to get a kiss from he kissed Gowan, which was strange.
I really liked that because shows.
But he never got a kiss.
Well, he did get a kiss, and then he got a handy.
So he was going to give him a handy.
But that's the thing, is he's still being dishonest about it. He failed at sustaining his honor. He didn't have sex with her, but he got pretty fucking close. And then he bailed, and then the huntsman's like, yo, dude, you said you were going to return to me? You get anything in my house? And then he only gives him the kiss. Because, gay, but also, like, he's being dishonest that he almost had sex with this dude's wife. Mm-hmm. He's still lying.
That's his wife?
Yes, that's yeah. He's still lying about it and being dishonest. And I like how that, like I said, it gets better each time. He tries something, it gets a little better, but he's still failing right up until the end.
Yeah.
2,000 years later.
I would need to watch it again. I've watched it 3 times, and I think I'm a little iffy.
I've watched it once, so...
Anyways, moving on.
The movie was fantastic, and I'm glad I had this conversation with you.
This is my movie
of the year. We need to watch
it
together.
Yes, this is my movie of the year so far.
Oh, same, dude.
There's been a lot of really good movies
I talk about this constantly.
Yes. I have just missed...
It's inspired me, actually.
Nice. I've missed medieval fantasy.
Me too.
Because it's like one of those things where it's never been huge, and because obviously Lord of the Rings has kind of made it so you can't, like, you have to either be better or be different. You can't do, like, effectively the same thing. It discourages, like, fantasy from being made.
You effectively can't have travel the movie three times.
Sure, whatever.
I'm just trying to piss you off.
You're making my brain hurt.
I know. I'm just trying to piss you off. I know it's not.
And I liked that this felt so different. It felt like this is a fantasy movie, and then it's like, wait, where's the action? I don't care that there's no action. This is gripping. This is like a character.
I literally
this
don't
is a
care
character piece. It's still tense.
Dude, I watched this with 2 other people, and literally I was like, hey, do you want me to pause this? And they're like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, I will never watch a movie with you ever again now.
Oof. I hate
If
those types of people.
If you're watching a movie neither of you seen, you pause every moment that you need.
Unless it's like clearly like, okay, we're just kind of throwing this on, it's really shitty.
Yes, but if you've seen it.
Yeah.
If you have not seen it, you pause it.
Of course. You're supposed to enjoy the experience.
Yes, this is an experience, and I don't like watching movies with people that don't. They just see movies as movies. They literally don't see it as anything other than like a surface level thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm so into movies and shows.
And this movie in particular is one of the most like perfect definitions of like film as art. Like this is a insanely layered. Like if you just watch it, you can just vibe for 2 hours.
Of course.
But like you're doing yourself a disservice by only viewing it as that. So good.
They got so confused by the movie.
Nice. I love when people get confused.
And I'm literally like,
I understand. I have almost half of this stuff.
Almost half.
Moving on, though. So we can flip a coin on who wants to go next, and I feel like it should be our last points.
Yes, it is, because that is how the numbered system works.
So,
friendo.
Since you and I shared that rock, paper, scissors, pee-pee slaps.
Yes.
Okay, ready?
What the fuck was that?
Pee-pee slaps! Fuck off! I don't have this written down, but I will talk about it briefly.
Ooh.
And I just got back into reading regular books, and I picked up a book written by Frank Herbert named Dune.
Oh, I'm so proud of you for A, picking up a normal book, and B, picking up one of sci-fi's best classics ever.
I went into Barnes & Noble looking for anything. I was actually going to pick up a book just about an artist. Mm-hmm. And, like, I've seen books like that, and I was going to try to find the Jack Kirby one. But I every time I go past a Dune book, I look at it. Mm-hmm. I don't look inside. I look at the cover. I'm like,
you can hear it whispering in your ear.
It's literally calling me every single time.
It's going, I am one of the best books ever written. I am a modern classic.
Literally.
And I am sexy. Open me up,
sex.
Big boy.
So what happened was, I've been so discouraged to read this because people on the internet are like, oh, what's it about? Oh, I don't know. Do you like it? I don't know. What's going on in the story? I don't know. It's like they don't know what's going on.
That's really weird because I
don't understand because it is very easy to follow.
Yeah, in terms of like it's regarded by academia and whatever. Like the general like book going populace is like one of the first modern sci-fi fantasy
that's
books.
Easy to follow because
in terms of how it's written,
started
like, style-wise.
Yes.
It's written from I don't even remember how long ago, but it feels like something that could have been written today.
Yes. So the annoying part is I've read so many sci-fis or like whatever, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
This thing has an appendix. It has an index. It has a dictionary. It has all the things you need to understand it. You don't need to go anywhere else except for this book. And I'm 6 chapters in.
Nice.
I am about...
It's like maybe 25%, I think.
I am about 66 pages in.
Wow.
Maybe like 4 or 5 chapters in. And this book's phenomenal. Every scene I can retain. This is a political drama book about a family who is very close to almost becoming like bankrupt in their ruling. They're like a part of the system of families that are like just the big heads of the universe is what I'm taking it as. And the father's basically losing rule of a planet he hasn't even come to yet. And it's the planet Arrakis, and its people are like deadly. And in the beginning of these chapters, what I'm being shown is I'm being introduced to Paul and his many teachers and him being tested and being warned of the planet they're going to, that it is no game. And the first chapter is phenomenal because I am introduced to the Reverend Mother who taught Paul's mother of this kind of witch cult is what I'm presuming it to be.
Yeah, accurate description.
And she's testing him, and she gave him a test they only give to like women, and she amped it up, and she's like, no other person has passed it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And the mother, is basically she was in hopes of having this like the one character be her son, and she was told to have a female child, which was funny to me because I'm like, what do you mean you can't just like decide this? And while I keep reading, I'm like, wait, can they like genetically modify, like design, like
yes.
They can basically the bare minimum, the most that they can do is decide if they want to have a male or female, because we're shown through someone else's lenses that Paul is small, and then the mother's like, yes, the children, his kind from his father and the predecessors of him, that's how they are growing up. They will get bigger in time.
His genetics are fucked, but not from my side.
No. His genetics are just slow. They're just late bloomers.
A late bloomer.
It's a
great way to put it.
I can kind of relate. So
Colin, you just haven't hit second puberty yet.
I hope I get tall.
No, you don't.
No, I'm a Hobbit boy. Look at me.
Yeah.
I have my Hobbit feet out. I have, while reading this book, out in my backyard.
Nice.
This is a fantastic read. I don't like politicals. I don't like anything political for the most part. But this sci-fi political drama is fantastic. The imagery it's colorful, but it's dim at the same time. Because I imagine the castles of Caladian. I'm butchering every single name because I'm new to this whole universe.
It's okay.
So, like, the castles of Caladian are just like these dark black stone buildings, and every room is just dark. And
I like how
with like blue, almost like blue lit lighting in the corners of the rooms, and it's fantastic. So we also got a scene from like what seems to be a bad guy, and he's just a fat fuck. Like we just hear him. The words are like, he touches his lips as he's hungering for some food as he looks at his nephew. It's like this dude's fucked. And I've been like writing notes and highlighting things that I like, and I wrote right next to that, I'm like, fat fuck.
I think the really cool thing about like the technology in particular is it feels like they have all these really cool, fantastical pieces of tech that are like normal to their everyday life, and they become so ingrained to like how they operate. It's like it's dingy lit. It's like whatever. It's a thing.
Yeah. Yes.
We've had this for generations.
It's whatever. Like everything has their names. Everything has their own names.
It's like, and we have TVs now. We're like, yeah, it's a fucking TV.
It's a television, whatever.
Yeah, we've had TVs for like 8 years or whatever. Like, yeah, there's been a bajillion different types of TVs, but everyone has a TV now.
Yeah.
And we're all like, yeah, it's my TV, whatever. You don't think about, this person has a TV in their home. It's like, no shit. Everyone has a TV.
Yeah.
And I love that like vibe. It feels really lived in, which is kind of an overused term for like sci-fi.
I like that because everything does feel lived in a book. So that term can be like overused in like movies and whatever. But in a book, I'm reading a fucking book.
Yes.
This book also, it's like it's a thicker one. So it's not like
boy.
I actually like the short, small, thick ones because they remind me of me. But not just that.
It does look like you.
It does look like me, but it's just, I don't know. I like it. It feels good in my hands, and also it was cheaper.
Yes.
It was cheaper than the regular size. I was like, why? This one looks so much better. You know what? I'm not complaining. I'm getting the fucking thick-ass book.
Yes. So, fun fact about that, which he is not with us to talk about anymore, which is really sad. I shouldn't be laughing. Dune was one of Jacob's like favorite books.
I know. I think that's what really pushed me to get this was
he
did talk to me about it, and I was like, I don't know. And I kept saying to him, like, you know, because I keep seeing the Dune trailers and whatever, I'll check it out sometime. I never got to really check it out, but after hearing that what happened, I felt like I needed to pick it up.
I think what we need to do is go watch Dune when it comes out, and then we'll have his funeral service.
Yes.
Like, that is like the the spiritual bonding we have with his soul left behind or whatever. Like, that's what we do, and then we have the stupid service. I think Jacob would want us to go watch Dune in IMAX.
I think it would be a dishonor if we didn't.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace. Yeah, I don't really know who publishes it, like Ace or whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I literally don't give a shit.
Most books are published by a fuck ton of different publishers.
Dune, Frank Herbert.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
Dude.
I am using and abusing this book. That's
just like
I used to
abuse you.
Of course. I used to have a thing where it's like, no, I can only have hardcovers. But then I was introduced to the ways of the potential of paperback, which is literally use and abuse, and you will never feel guilty about it.
Yes, that is how, when it comes to the way I use my books, is like, if it's a first time read, like something most likely that I haven't either cared for or like whatever, I will get a paperback copy, something cheap. I'll take notes, I'll enjoy it, and then if I enjoyed it enough, then I'll get a hardcover, and then on repeat read, I read the hardcover. It's nice, I'll take care of it because I've read it before. But when that first time you read a book, and then it just reaches all the way up, and it just squeezes your heart, and you're like, I need to bring this everywhere right now.
That's what I've been doing.
That's what the paperback is for.
I bring that to work.
Because you can throw that in your work bag. Yeah, you can throw it in your work bag, you can throw it around, you can take notes in it, and you get just pulled into it. And then the hardcover is like something you give on loan to someone, and you put it on the shelf, and you're like, I'm going to read this again for nostalgia's sake, like once a year. That's when you pull out the hardcovers.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to these things.
Of course.
There is a purpose.
This is why every comic book and book needs a paperback first instead of a hardcover.
Correct.
Fucking White Knight.
Just DC in general.
Yeah,
they like doing hardcovers, and then 6 to 12 months later they release the paperback, and it's like,
so annoying.
You tricked us into buying the hardcover that's more expensive. Fuck you.
That's why I'm waiting for Earth 1, Batman Earth 1 Volume 3 to be paperback.
That one's not gonna happen. They've stopped publishing those in. Those ones are only in hardcover.
Really?
Everything that's come out since, I believe, because they've all been released in hardcover. The last paperback, I believe, was Wonder Woman 2,
That's
think.
so dumb.
Both of the two most recent books, so we have the past 4 that got released was Wonder Woman 3, Batman 3, and then the 2 Green Lantern books. Mm-hmm. None of those have been released in paperback.
Fuck!
So the Green Lantern ones are exclusive in hardcover. That's why I jumped and went, fuck it, get the hardcover ones. Sure. They are nice hardcovers. But, so I read a single issue this week, a nice little one-shot.
Wow.
Which I got really excited about when it was announced, which was Spider-Man Life Story Annual Number 1. So it's a brief follow-up to Spider-Man Life Story, which was, I think, episode like 15. That was one of the first episodes we did, and that was a good podcast.
I liked that one enough that I bought it.
That is true, and I think Jacob, if I remember correctly, either really didn't like it or really liked it. I can't remember.
I don't think he liked it at all.
Something like that.
We'll have to look.
Wait. No. He was like, yeah, this is a great intro Spider-Man book. And I'm like, bro, no. It's a nostalgia book. But anyways.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yes. So this one takes place in a couple of different decades, but it follows outside of the main narrative of the original book.
In the 60s.
Yeah. So instead of it being like, oh crap, they should republish the book with this included, it's like, this is its own little thing that's related. So it follows J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh.
Yeah. My boy, JJJ. So it follows him throughout multiple decades of Spider-Man shenanigans, and it goes over how this man's life has gotten fucked over, not by Spider-Man, but his obsession with Spider-Man.
Yeah, dude, that is so him. So
the fact that he's always like, Spider-Man ruined my life because he saved my life, or he saved my son. Yeah. He's taking credit for everything. He's behind, and then it's the fact that, he was the one who hired Scorpion to try to kill Spider-Man, and that had side effects and all this other stuff. So he ends up going to prison in this book. Oh, wow. Fairly early on. And then he spends decades reflecting on it. He writes a memoir, which you get little hints throughout. This is a one-shot. It's fairly short. So you get little hints of, like, he's writing something or whatever. He bumps into Norman Osborn in prison. He gets kind of close to Norman. Norman ends up getting released, and then he dies, like in the main story. And then the end of this, when JJ... do you remember Gwen's clone, whose name I do not remember?
Yeah.
She ends up working in the prison. I didn't recognize her at first. I believe because she dyed her hair.
Okay.
I read this like 2 weeks ago. But like her name's there, and you're like, oh wait, what? So then Spider-Man is in this, which is nice. But she ends up working with all these like criminals and like tries to help them reform and stuff. Like she's like their therapist essentially. She doesn't turn into Harley Quinn or anything weird. So, like, she works there, and she's like, oh, yeah, I know you were friends with Norman before he passed, blah, blah, blah. She tries to convince JJJ that, like, dude, you're being a shithead. It's been for, like, 40 years. Your family is, like, all dead, and you're just clinging on because you hate Spider-Man and whatever. And then, effectively, by the end, he gets released. He has, like, a mech suit, and he kicks the ever-living shit out of Scorpion. Because Scorpion is like kind of what kicked off everything kind of going to hell. That's why he's in prison. Because he hated Spider-Man enough to try to literally hire an assassin to frame him and then kill him. Which is really fucked up. So he does that. He kicks the crap out of Scorpion, who's really old and bumping around in a mech suit, obviously. And he like has his like hero moment. He's like, no, I'm gonna stop what I started like decades ago. He dies. Like, he effectively, like, he dies of, like, old age or, like, a heart attack or something. After, he crawls out of this mech suit. Like, I did it. He literally kills Scorpion.
Wow.
He's like, I solved the problem I started. And then we get towards the end. That copy of Gwen meets up with Peter Parker. This is, I think, in the 80s or 90s. So it's been a little while.
Yep.
Something like that, whatever. It's towards the end of the main story. And then she's like, yeah, no, they talked about JJ. The big kicker emotionally was the fact that when one of Peter Parker's love interests like dies, and then he like calls JJ because it's his old boss, whatever. JJ's in prison, and then instead of being like, "Oh, my condolences," blah blah blah, I feel for it because like they're kind of like friends. He just goes off on how much he hates Spider-Man and this is Spider-Man's fault, and he's like, "JJ, you're fucking psychotic," and then like he leaves him in the dust forever. And so it's this Gwen clone's like last thing. She's like, "Yeah." And JJ did this, and she hands it. It's this memoir. And it's him. I don't remember the name of the book, but it's one of those like tell-all books, but like in the good way. It's like this was my relationship to Spider-Man and how it fucked my life up, like in the good sense. Like, this is me taking responsibility for my obsession with feeling powerless and all this other fun stuff, and how my obsession with Spider-Man ruined my life and all these things I've tried to do over the years. Those are all me. That's not Spider-Man, blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of hard to describe. It's pretty short. It was really nice. Good. It's Mark Bagley, so the illustrations are amazing. The writing was good. I liked the fact that it was smaller scale. I've always moaned about large scale stuff. I like little, more personal stories.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that JJ gets redemption, because it depends on which version you like, obviously. But JJ can either be like, darn old, good old J. Jonah Jameson being a dickhead, or it's like, this dude should be in prison. This is fucking insane.
Yes.
And it depends on like what media version you're reading and like how old you are. If you're a kid, you're like, wow, he's crazy. Cool.
Moving on.
And then as you're an adult, you're like, he did what? And then they keep moving because, Marvel never resets their timeline. So these things have always happened. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they openly acknowledge that. They go, this is not healthy. We're going to try to make him grow. And it feels really genuine and earned, even though it's only over like 20 pages. Really, really good little thing. Easily on par with the rest of the book. And because it has less time hopping stuff and so many different characters, it feels a lot more cohesive.
Yeah.
Big win.
One thing I do actually, no matter what, I do love Joe. I love Jameson. He's like one of my favorite characters because of the one moment in Spider-Man 1,
Yes.
Sam Raimi, where he's like, fuck Spider-Man, blah, 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 and then Green Goblin comes in and he's like, who takes the pictures of Spider-Man? And he immediately goes, oh, I don't know, he's like, the life is being drained out of him pretty much, like he's being choked to death.
Yeah.
And he's like, it just comes in the mail, I don't know who the person is, and ominous. He's like, you're a liar. He's like, no, I don't know who it is. He's protecting Peter, like he loves Peter.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't feel like this is a person that like is like, yeah, I'm protecting a young person. It's like I'm protecting my kid, or like I'm protecting my nephew. That's how I see it. It's like I'm protecting a child I care about.
Yeah, I mean that. Even that you can kind of read as like either that or like literally just journalistic integrity. You don't talk about those things or whatever. But like I think they're both valid in terms of he's a salvageable human being, even though he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's a great character. I love when stories use him a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't like when they use him as a bad guy though.
It depends.
But it sounds like this one works.
I think, yes, it uses the things that are, like, very, like, the first stuff that J. Jonah Jameson does, he essentially inspires Peter to give up being Spider-Man, like, back in the Lee and Ditko era. Like, that's mostly because JJ was talking mad shit on the radio and in the newspaper. And then Spider-Man's like, I'm not going to be Spider-Man anymore because people are being mean. Like, so it's always been there to like one extent. It depends on like how much each writer wants to lean into it. And I like that he's such a malleable character, but you'll always know what J. Jonah Jameson's going to be like. Mm-hmm. It's such a nice thing.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, my good sir?
None at all. Just everyone needs to go find a way to watch The Green Knight.
Agreed. So big thank you to our patrons over on patreon.com/dimecomicbros. Wesley Eaton, Jeff Lawrence, and Business Casual. Thank you guys for keeping the very dim, yellow, warm light bulb on.
It's making us very warm right now.
It is getting kind of warm in here, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, dudes and duderinos and dudettes and whatevers. Thanks to Jetpack Comics, our partnerinos over there. I always say that word a lot. I like sticking Areno on the bottom of things. I don't know why. Thanks to Jetpack Comics and Games for hanging out with us and socializing and being cool and whatever. Go give them your money. Buy their comics and their graphic novels and their collectibles and their weird knickknacks.
You can pick up Dune over there as well.
You can. They got a lot of copies of Dune.
Mm-hmm.
They're cool. Tell them that we sent you. We have a sticker on the door and a flyer on the corkboard, and they give out our business card sometimes. Pretty dope.
We have a sticker on the door?
Yeah.
My sticker's on the door?
Not that one, the old one. But still.
We'll have to cover it up.
Sure. I'll go over and vandalize that door with a new sticker. Yeah, I'll do it. Jeez. Feel free to send us an email at dimecomicbros@gmail.com if you have any criticism, memes, dick pics in memories of Jacob, or any messages you would like to pass along to his family. We will make sure we do that. Go visit our website over at dimecomicbros.com. I finally finished it.
You finally finished it. A round of applause for Spencer.
I mean, I need to go like draw in like red ink to cross off Jacob now, but yeah, I finally finished the website. It's been on our business cards for a little while now, but I just got a little behind. Use the desktop one. The mobile one's still kind of iffy. I need to work on that, but I did my best in the amount of time I had. But we own the domain now for the next year, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, listen to us on all the different audio platforms and on YouTube. Drop a comment, a like, subscribe, do the interactions. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We will be posting an obituary for Jacob pretty soon. Once we, get the go-ahead from his relatives. Jacob will be getting a nice little memorial on everything.
Dune inspired, of course.
Obviously.
Spencer will dress up as the sandworm.
I'm already dressed up as a sandworm. So next week, we will be discussing Dark Knight Returns Golden Child, which is the last Frank Miller Dark Knight universe book.
Thank fucking God.
Until another one comes out next year.
Shut the fuck up. We're not talking about it.
No, I know.
Nothing exists after this one.
Yes, so we'll be discussing that. It is a one-shot, so it'll be a little bit of an easier read for all of us, and it'll be a bit of a briefer discussion. Yeah, listen to that. It'll be fun. I do actually want to... I look forward to hearing what Colin thinks about this. I have read this one before. You have not. It'll be fun.
Okay. Bye. Pee pee poo poo in my shoo shoo. Pee pee poo poo. Pee pee poo poo.
Shoe.
Shoe.
Cock and ball.
Cock and ball torture.
Balls.
Ball.
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 Cock.
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 Ball.
Ball. Ball. Cock. That looks pretty good, actually.
That's high as fuck, but yeah.
Well, when we're yelling,
yeah, I think
but when we're talking, it's fine.
So,
on with the show.
Fuck. I'm gonna sneeze on your dick.
Okay, so basically, to dumb it down, and I know some of you guys are smart, business casual, but first off, sex is cringe anyway. So like
True.
to say
women are cringe.
Yeah, fucking cringe bots. Am I right?
Yeah.
Rock paper scissors shoot. 2 out of 3. You never do 2 out of 3.
Oh yeah.
Rock paper scissors shoot. rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Fuck.
Gotcha.
Ha! Could you stop?
That hurts my asshole when I like
Then
fart in the
don't,
air.
you
I don't know why I
fucking
do
idiot.
that.
Because it doesn't spread your cheeks the same way as when you're sitting, you idiot.
Oh, you're right.
Thanks.
Fuck you.